And we're live.
The chair notes the time is 6:05 p.m. and I call this meeting of the Amherst Zoning Board of Appeals for March 26, 2026 to order. My name is Everett Henry, Chair of the Amherst Zoning Board of Appeals. I want to welcome everyone to this meeting. We'll begin with a roll call of the ZBA members. Mr. Sloviter,
Present.
Mr. Offeld,
Here.
Mr. White,
Present.
Mr. Meadows.
Here,
The chair notes a quorum is present. Also present tonight is Ms. Jacinta Williams, a planner with the town. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025, extended through June 30th of 2027, the ability of public bodies to meet in a fully remote or hybrid manner, this meeting will be conducted via remote means. Members of the public who wish to access this meeting may do so via Zoom or telephone. No in-person attendance of the members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. The Zoning Board of Appeals is a quasi-judicial body that operates under the authority of Chapter 40A of the General Laws of the Commonwealth for the purpose of promoting the health, safety, convenience, and the general welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Amherst. One of the most important elements of the Amherst zoning bylaw is Section 10.38. Specific findings from this section must be made for all of our decisions. Statutorily, for a special permit, the board has 90 days from the close of the hearing to file a decision. No decision is final until the written decision is signed by the sitting board members and is filed in the town clerk's office. Once the decision is filed with the town clerk, there is a 20-day appeal period for an aggrieved party to contest the decision with the relevant judicial body in the Superior Court. After the appeal period, the permit must be recorded at the Registry of Deeds to take effect. For tonight's agenda, we have a public meeting, ZBA FY 2026-11, LSC Fornex Pulpit Hill, request a special permit under request an audience with the ZBA to present their updated operations and maintenance plan to reflect the change of ownership of the BEST that was recently granted a special permit in August of 2025. Said property is located on map parcel 2A-18, 2B-3, 2B-4, RO outline residence zoning districts. This meeting has been continued from February 12, 2026. We'll also have two public hearings, ZBA FY 2026-12, 191 West Pomeroy Lane, who requests a special permit to modify the previously approved special permit ZBA FY 2019-09 for the proposed modification to condition 20 to extend construction period from 18 to 24 months. Applicant is also presenting a reduction in battery capacity and increase in DC capacity, presentation of new operations and maintenance plan for the battery, and submission of electrical record drawings, confirming pad locations under General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 9, and Section 10.33 of the zoning bylaw. The said property is located on map parcel 19D/10, FPC, RN and RO flood-prone conservancy, neighborhood residence, and outlying residence zoning districts. We'll also have a public hearing on ZBA FY 2026-12, 113 Cowles Road, who requests a special permit for change of use under sections 3.53, arcade or indoor commercial amusement, to open an arcade with bar in the space formerly occupied by Atkins Farms Country Market North. Said property is located on map parcel 5A/139 commercial zoning districts. We'll also have general discussions, a general public comment period, any other business not anticipated within the last 48 hours. So the first order of business tonight is the public meeting on ZBA FY 2026-11 LSC Fornex Pulpit Hill. The panel for this hearing is the sitting panelists here, myself, Mr. Meadows, Mr. Offeld, Mr. White, and Mr. Sloviter. Before we begin with the public meeting, does anyone on the panel have anything to declare or disclose? I see no affirmative responses. If there are no disclosures, I will open the public meeting by reviewing any new document submissions and per the project application report. And from March 25th, 2026, I'm sorry, I want to go back to January. I do not believe in our last public meeting we put this on the record, so I will do so now. January 29th, 2026 submission will have the Pulpit Hill Best cover letter dated 1/29/2026, the management plan and acknowledgement of assumption, LSC Fornax LLC to LSC Fornax 2 LLC, the approval license and assignment agreement from LSC Fornax LLC to LSC Fornax 2 LLC, March 25th, 2026 submission, we have the Pulpit Solar and BESS decommissioning plan. Ms. Williams, did I miss anything, or do we need to address the staff submissions as well?
Only if you would like to address the staff submissions, but we did read everything into the record for the applicant submission.
Thank you. So I do not necessarily think we need to read the staff submissions. So if you can, I know that we had a site visit last week, and myself, Mrs. Slovder, and Ms. Williams went to the site visit. One of the reasons for the site visit was when we were here, when the applicant was asking for the transfer, because it was a bit of a non-standard request, we reached out to town council for guidance. And the guidance was that we can make a determination in transferring the special permits if we decide as a body that substantial construction has been completed. And the way we make that determination, if substantial construction has been completed, is to do a site visit. And so that was the purpose of a site visit that transpired. This is a battery that is meant to be part of a larger solar project. That solar project has been in effect for quite some time. We actually had the opportunity to go to the solar farm this time, where it is now 16 acres. It is operational. It has been operational for quite some time. And based on our observations, given that this battery is just another component of the solar farm, I would make the argument that substantial construction has been completed, and I will have Mr. Slovder chime in if he has anything to add.
No, I don't really. It was very obvious that, or seemed apparent to both of us that the construction had been completed on by far the largest component of this project. We reviewed while we were there where the battery storage would go and the size of it. It is insignificant in size when compared to the solar array that has been completed. And we both felt at the time of the visit that given that the question and our task that day was simply to determine if a significant part of the project had been completed, we were both quite satisfied that it had been. So I agree. We reviewed everything and it was very clear.
And one of the other things too that as an update to what was done is in our initial visit where the battery was meant to go, the site, while it was cleared to an extent, it had trees and shrubs where the batteries were meant to go. When we got there this time, everything was cut and prepared to seem as if, the site was being prepared for the battery to be installed. And in speaking with the applicant, again, that was the representation. They were simply waiting for, I believe, the utility company to sign off on one final piece of paper before they can actually do construction. So just wanted to present that update for everyone. And with that, Ms. Williams, can you promote the representative for LSC Fornax, please?
Certainly, one moment.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, Ms. Vallone. As usual, please state your name for the record and your address, please, and welcome.
Yes, my name is Sam Vallone. I'm with the applicant LSC Fornax LLC, and my address is 18 North Main Street, West Hartford, Connecticut.
Thank you. And I do know that this is a public meeting that was continued from our last appearance, and typically we don't do have applicants in the public meeting, but given the nature of why we continued, I do want to afford you the opportunity to add anything if you wish.
Not too much to add. I just say thank you for doing the site visit with us. The only new materials I had submitted was the decommissioning plan for both the battery and the solar. And again, all the decommissioning with the battery, we are requesting that that would be transferred to LSE Fornax, to LLC, purely for financing purposes, not because of any change in the site plan. So I don't have anything to add, but if you have any questions,
I think she froze, but while we get her back. Actually, I don't think we should do this without her. There you are. So you froze for a while.
oh no.
Yes.
Okay. All right, let me just repeat myself. Thank you for doing the site visit. The only new submission I had was the decommissioning plan for both the solar and the battery. But there's really nothing to add other than just want to reiterate that this is purely for financing purposes and assigning the battery portion of the site to LSE Fornax to LLC, not because of any major changes in the site plan. And Mr. Henry, you were right about the only thing we're waiting for final construction of the battery or to wrap up construction is Eversource and to sign off on some paperwork. So nothing else to add, but I'm happy to answer questions if you have any.
I personally do not have any questions, but I will have members of the board, if you do have any questions, you can present to Ms. Vallone at this time. I do not see any questions. So thank you again, Ms. Vallone. So given that we are in a public meeting, I can just say something briefly, that having reviewed the application materials, and I think if not all, most of us sat in the initial meeting that we gave the special permit. I think we're all very familiar with this. So having carefully reviewed the application materials, relying on council's interpretation of the bylaws, the supporting documentation, and again, Ms. Vallone's testimony this evening, I do find that the applicants have satisfied the requirements for the transfer special permit. And I do believe that the proposed transfer will not result in any substantial change to the previously approved use, that the conditions and safeguards attached to the previously approved special permit will remain in effect, and that the operation will continue to be consistent with the intent and the purpose of the zoning ordinance. I would also add that the applicants have demonstrated the capacity and the intent to comply with all the existing conditions of approval, and that the transfer will not be detrimental in any way to public health, safety, or general welfare, nor will it negatively affect the surrounding neighborhood. Again, nothing is changing from the original footprint that we signed off on previously, or approved rather. And based on those findings, I would entertain any comments from the board. If there are no comments from any members of the board, I will entertain a motion that we approve this transfer. But before we get to that, does any members of the panel wish to add any comments? I think I saw Mr. Slaughter's hand.
You only saw it because I was going to volunteer for the honor of making the motion that you suggested. I'm having been on the site a couple times.
Yeah.
They even made progress, as you mentioned, Mr. Chair, in clearing the site for the battery installation. So, and since I believe, unless I don't remember this correctly, we have already approved the transfer pending this. So all of the conditions of the transfer have already been done, and I'm under the impression we are only being asked to approve or disapprove the confirmation that of the term that the town council told us about. So whenever you're ready, we can finish this one, I think. I'm happy to make the motion.
I agree.
Or Philip can do it if he's smiling a lot. So I don't really care.
So,
Get the second, Dave. You're fine.
yeah. So I will officially entertain a motion to approve the special permit transfer for ZBA FY 2026-11 LSC Fornax Pulpit Hill to their new entity, LSC Fornax 2. Is that correct, Mr. Falone? Yes. I do believe I have such a motion from Mr. Sloviter. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion. Mr. White,
All right.
Mr. Offeld, Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Sloviter,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. With a unanimous vote, the special permit for ZBA FY 2026-11 LSC Fornax Pulpit Hill to be transferred to LSC Fornax 2 has been approved. I will now entertain a motion to close this public meeting and end the discussion on LSC Fornax ZBA FY 2026-11. Is there such a motion to close the public meeting?
So moved. So moved.
Is there a second? It has been moved. It has been moved in second. The vote occurs on the motion. Mrs. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Ms. Vallone, thank you very much for being here, and congratulations on your approval. And the public meeting for ZBA FY 2026-11 LSC Fornax Pulpit Hill is officially closed.
Thank you all, and thank you for bearing with me through this long process. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your
Take
patience
care.
with us.
Of course. Bye.
Our next petition before the board tonight is ZBA FY 2026-12 191 West Pomeroy Lane, that request a special permit to modify the previously approved special permit ZBA FY 2019-09 for the proposed modification to condition 20 to extend construction from 18 to 24 months. The applicant is also presenting reduction in battery capacity and increase in DC capacity, presentation of new operations and maintenance plan for the battery, and submission of electrical record drawings confirming locations under General Laws, Chapter 40, Section 9, and 10.33 of our zoning bylaw. I was not able to make the site visit, but I do believe Mr. Sloviter and Mr. Offeld went to the site visit, and I can defer to you both to present to the board your site visit.
Well, Mr. Offeld is more qualified to report on this one than I am, since don't be smirking, Ms. Williams. So I got lost.
We had a little challenge getting to the actual site, but we did, Ms. Williams and myself did make it there and get a chance to speak with the applicant. Just observe, and I know Ms. Williams has already written this into this, some of this into the site visit report I'm looking at in the PAR. Basically, the existing the panels have all been installed. The fence, much of the fencing is up. The pad where the batteries system will be installed is in place. The inverter's in place, and all the other components are in place except for the batteries. And so the batteries, the remaining work to be done, we observed, or we learned from the applicant, is the installation of the batteries. And they will be delivered down an access road, which we saw, a gravel access road, and a crane will be brought along to lift them into place. They're quite heavy. So we understand the application is about extending the time for construction, and we observe that, as I said, most of the construction is already completed.
Thank you, Mr. Offeld. There are some submissions that I would like to enter into the record. The applicant submissions date starting with February 12th. The Amherst ZBA amendment request cover letter dated February 2nd, 2026. The BESS O&M updated operations and maintenance plan dated January 2026. The Fort River Solar electrical record drawings, sealed, complete plan set dated February 13th, 2026. The SMA 2660 US.UP equipment spec sheets, and the Voyager _plus_ data sheet equipment spec sheet, and 191 West Palmer Lane ZBA application stamped, submitted February 12th. Ms. Williams, when you are ready, you can promote the applicant in.
Mr. Cook will be joining us shortly.
Thank you. So while we wait for Mr. Cook, just by way of background, the ZBA first granted 191 West Palmer Lane a special permit in 2019 for the construction of a solar energy system with panels and racking equipment. The arrays were divided as a means of maintaining buffers to wetland resource areas of the site. And in 2014, another permit was granted to allow the construction of structures, bridges, and boardwalks in the floodplain conservancy. So there have been a few special permits on here. And again, this is an extension for modification to ZBA FY 2019-09, requesting to modify condition 20 to extend the construction period for 6 additional months. And you said Mr. Cook represents?
Yes, he's here.
Fort River? Okay. Mr. Cook, welcome to this public hearing. Please introduce yourself and state your address for the record as well.
Yes, so my name is Lawrence Cook. I work for Pure Sky Energy, the owner. The owner is the entity Fort River Solar 2 LLC. The address of Pure Sky is 518 17th Street, Suite 950, Denver, Colorado, 80202. You pretty much covered it. The special permit has a condition that was the 18 months with the COVID tolling and everything was due to expire at the end of February. that was obviously right in the middle of winter. Most of the work beyond the battery is the kind of civil cleanup. We had some loam piles that had been stored following some grading work that were frozen up until relatively recently. Those are being spread around now. We've obviously got the fence to finish off and the batteries to go in. We have encountered a number of delays on the project. The batteries themselves required a permit from the fire department, which took most of last year. It's about a 9-month period once they appointed a peer reviewer, and then the back and forth. We had the issue with the battery manufacturer filing for insolvency in the middle of last year that we had to overcome, and some other things that came out of the Conservation Commission permits that we needed. A secondary access road that came in through the Mill Valley Estates to the north of the site required a license with the Housing Association, which has only recently been granted to allow us to be able to complete the road so that we can get the batteries installed. We're not anticipating that we'll need. It makes sense to do that just so that we can have the full establishment come in once the civil work is completed.
Are there any, with this extension, is there anything significant? Is there anything significant or out of the norm? And that may be a broad phrase to say, is there, other than time for construction, is there anything that's going to be changed in the way you're doing your construction?
No.
So there isn't, you literally just need more time.
We just need a little bit more time. Yes, the batteries themselves are a fairly quick install, as they're individual segments, so they come in on a truck, get landed, wired together, and then commissioned. That process takes about 4 to 6 weeks for both sites. When I say both sites, there's an east array and a west array, so we've got 2 pads. That'll take probably till mid-May. The civil work will be done at the same time. They're on site at the moment. We're getting that seeded so that we can get some nice spring germination. And then once the batteries are installed, we can finish off the fence, because we can't stage the crane with where the fence line is, and then we'll all be done.
Is there anything changing with the battery?
The battery has reduced in size. There were 2 pads with proposed 8 battery segments on each pad. The east array has got 6 battery stacks now, rather than 8. The west array is still with the original 8.
Okay, thank you.
And then the other modification is on the solar panels. The solar panels, when delivered, were actually 5 watts a panel larger, so a greater capacity. Same number of panels, same size of panels. Is just the way the solar panel manufacturing goes is they eke a little bit more capacity out of each one.
Not seen my screen, so bear with me. Are there any members of the panel who have questions for Mr. Cook? Mr. Offeld?
Excuse me, I think this may be for Mr. Cook, or perhaps for Ms. Williams. In the package for this project that was on the website, or the town website, there were 2 files related to plans. I think they're identical. They're both 36 pages, and one is called the Fort River Solar Electrical Record Drawings, which is what we list as a submission. And there's another one called Fort River Solar Plans. I believe they're identical. And I think the question for Mr. Cook is, there was just, you have submitted just one set of plans, not a draft and then a second one or something like that. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, if there are two, then it will be a duplicate. But you're right. It's the 36 stamp set that's labeled as the as-built drawings,
Okay.
which is the record set.
And also, just to clarify about that, there was a set of plans approved with the FY19 special permit, and we're effectively approving a new set of plans, which are, am I correct to say, substantially the same, except you described the increase in DC capacity and the decrease in the number of batteries. Is that right there?
That is correct. There is some additional grading that was done that we had a Conservation Commission approval for, but the layout is the same. Capacity is substantially the same, apart from the modification I said with the slight increase on each panel. But yeah, layout and the pad locations, everything else is the same.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Are there any other members of the panel who wishes to present any question to the applicant? I do not see any hands in the affirmative. So Mr. Cook, thank you for your presentation. At this time, I will take comments from the public. Please remember that there is a maximum speaking time of 3 minutes per person. If there are any members from the public who wishes to comment on this application, please raise your hand and you'll be provided the opportunity to speak. Ms. Williams, do we have anyone in the audience who wishes to comment?
Not at this time, Mr. Chair. No hands have been raised.
Not seeing any public commenters. Unless there's any further questions or any comments from the applicant, I would entertain a motion to move to the public meeting while keeping the public hearing open so that we can discuss findings and any conditions where applicable, as well as discussions on disposition of the board towards this application. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion to move into a public meeting while keeping the public hearing open. Mr. Sloboda?
Aye.
Mr. Meadows?
Aye.
Mr. White?
Aye.
And Mr. Offold?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The vote is unanimous at 5-0. We will now move into the public meeting while keeping the public hearing open. This is, and if I may start, this also seems somewhat similar to what we just did, where this is, quite frankly, not a granting of a special permit per se, but rather an extension of time to complete a project pursuant to a special permit. So having reviewed the application and the supporting materials, as well as hearing from Mr. Cook tonight, I do believe that the request is not only warranted, but it's also reasonable for an extension to complete the construction and under this previously granted special permit. I do believe that there are sufficient safeguards with the conditions that was previously allowed or rather noted in the special permit to further this construction. So I understand that with the battery as to what Mr. Cook's saying, but I'm not 100% sure that it rises to a material change in the scope of the nature of the approved project that warrants much deviation or rather significant conditions. So my personal belief is that, again, the request is reasonable, the request is appropriate, and I'll be inclined to support it. And I have other members of the board weigh in. Mr. Sloboda?
Well, I was there on Tuesday, even though I didn't get quite as close as Mr. Offeld and Ms. Williams. Ms. Williams made me walk through more mud than either of them did. I'm not taking it personally. It just worked out that way. But I got very close to the array. Everything that I saw was consistent with the approval that was the application that was approved. Everything I heard tonight, it's nice to hear about the batteries, but that we're not being asked about that. And even the change in batteries and output of the solar panels is consistent with the application that's been approved. So if we're being asked only for an extension, and I have no problem with supporting this, and I will support it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Sloviter. The chair recognizes Mr. Offeld.
I'm very much inclined to support this. We do, just a clarification, we've got in the package a management plan for the batteries, which I guess is an addition to the existing management plan for the rest of the site. So under the FY19 approved special permit, I would consider this to be condition 9 was approved. Any modification to the management plan comes to the board at a public meeting. So I think we're modifying the management plan in that we're accepting a new component of the management plan as part of what we're doing here. But that's all in order because that's what is in the prior conditions from the FY19 application.
So are you saying, Mr. Offeld, that in our essentially findings and conditions, we should acknowledge the management plan as being modified?
I guess it would be a good idea to do that somewhere in the process to note that the management plan has been expanded or updated or however you want to describe that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it there. Number 9.
I think that makes sense. If we're touching the management plan, then yes, I think that makes sense.
But I'm definitely inclined to support this.
Thank you, Mr. Offeld. The chair recognizes Mr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to say what I say lots of times. I'm going to echo what pretty much everyone else who's spoken has said. I think it's pretty straightforward. I do like the point that Mr. Offeld made, excuse me. So I'm just inclined to support. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Mr. Meadows? I
wasn't at the site visit because I didn't want to get my boots muddy. So, and I happen to be in New York City in the hospital. But other than those things, I'm inclined to vote for this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Meadows. If there are no further comments from the panel, next we have to make findings. And pursuant to 10.38, we do have to make specific findings. And so, again, as always, with the permission of the board, I will skip the findings that are not applicable, and we can vote on them in block as to not be applicable. And going by the project application report that is on screen, so just bear with me one moment. Okay. Again, just for the record, this is an extension of request to extend the construction period by 6 months for this applicant. So specific findings under section 10.38. And so the ones that are not applicable, I will do them in block. 10.380, 381, 82, 83, 85, 87, 84, 86, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 97. So with the help of staff, I propose we make a finding that all those provisions are not applicable. And for the ones that are applicable, 10.387, staff does not believe that the proposal provides convenient and safe vehicular and pedestrian movement within the site and in relation to adjacent streets, property, or improvements. If the Special Granting Permit Authority deems the proposal likely to have a significantly adverse impact on traffic patterns, it shall be permitted to require a traffic impact report, and the proposal should comply with section 11.2437 of this bylaw. Staff does not believe this request will adversely impact local traffic patterns. 10.388, the proposal ensures adequate space for off-street loading and unloading of vehicles, goods, products, materials, and equipment incidental to the normal operation of the establishment or use. Staff does not believe the request requires off-street loading and unloading of vehicles, goods, etc. And 10.396, the proposal provides screening for storage areas, loading docks, dumpsters, rooftop equipment, utility buildings, and similar features. The updated plans demonstrate the appropriate screening where needed, and documented see Fort River Solar Electrical Record Drawings _2026.01.25 sealed. 10.398, the proposal is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this bylaw and the goals of the master plan. Staff finds that the proposal is in keeping with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw. Ms. Williams, just to keep me honest, did I miss any of the applicable findings?
No, Mr. Chair, you got them all.
Thank you. Are there any discussions on the findings, either in opposition or in support of the findings? And I'm not seeing all of our members. So, Mr. Offeld?
Would just urge support for all of the findings. I concur with the staff findings on the applicable ones that you mentioned.
Thank you, Mr. Offeld. So, are there any discussions on any of the findings? Seeing that there are no further discussion regarding the findings, I would entertain a motion that we approve the findings en bloc that are applicable, as well as the ones that are not applicable. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All
Any
right, I'm third.
Any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
Aye.
Mrs. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. With a unanimous vote, the findings are approved. We'll now look at any proposed conditions of approval. And again, being mindful that there are existing conditions, this is just an extension, but factor in Mr. Offel's observation and accurate observation as to the management plan, and in concert with town staff review, we do have limited conditions. Has everyone had a chance to review the conditions?
Yes.
And are there any objections to these conditions, or are there any proposed conditions to be added by members? If there are any hands, feel free to say verbally, because I'm only seeing Miss Williams's project application. Okay, I do not see any hands. So Ms. Williams, we can go through the conditions. Condition 1, the project shall be built and maintained according to the approved plans and application package. Any changes shall be reviewed by the building commissioner to determine if submission to the ZBA is necessary. Said changes may be reviewed and or approved by the Zoning Board of Appeals at a public meeting, or if the changes are significant enough, said changes shall require a formal modification of the permit and or condition. So the approved plans has a list of documents. I will say Fort River Solar 2 LLC operations and management plan dated January 2026. Fort River Solar underscore electrical record drawings underscore 2026.01.25 underscore sealed. Site plan set prepared by Tetra Tech Inc., Dynamic Energy Solutions LLC. Seal stamped by Alexander Reeser, PE, dated 2/13/2025. And there is a list of submissions from, I believe there are 30, that is 36, that I will not read into the record given the length of them, but they will be attached to the conditions. And for condition 2, the most recent order of conditions for the solar and battery installations shall be in full effect. Any updated permits filled in regards to either the solar or battery installations with the Conservation Commission shall take priority after the fact. Condition 3, all exterior site improvements, including the driveway, parking area, stripping, curbing, lighting, dumpster enclosure, stormwater drainage systems, landscaping, and plantings shall be constructed or installed substantially in accordance with the approved stamped as-built site plans and associated details prior to the issuance of any certificate of occupancy, and shall thereafter be maintained in good working order in accordance with the operations and maintenance plan and Article 7 of the zoning bylaw. Number 4, the granting of this special permit shall extend the substantial completion date for construction as permitted under ZBA FY 2019-09 and ZBA FY 2023-03 special permits for an additional 6 months from the is the 21st day meant to be when this was request, or what's the 21st day off? The decision.
The 21st day is the day following the 20-day appeal period.
Thank you.
So, yes.
For an additional 6 months from the 21st day following the recording of the decision within the town clerk. Prior to the expiration of the 6 months, if the applicant has not completed construction, the applicant must present a new request for an extension at a public meeting. And the approved, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if you can make your screen a little bit bigger so I can read number 5. Thank you. The approved management plan for Fort River Solar 2 LLC operations and management plan shall be followed at all times. Any modification shall come before the Zoning Board of Appeals at a public meeting for review and approval. And as always, all conditions under the previously approved ZBA FY 2019-09 special permit shall be followed at all times. Are there any feedback from anyone on the proposed conditions? I think my computer locked on me. Bear with me. Okay. If there are no comments on the conditions, I will entertain a motion to approve the conditions as read into the record. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion on the motion? With no discussion, the vote occurs. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
Aye.
Mrs. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The conditions have been approved 5-0. I will now entertain a motion to approve the extension with the findings that we've made, as well as the conditions. This motion is to approve the special permit as requested. I am sorry, but bear with me. For some reason, I am not getting back into my computer. Okay. So I would entertain a motion to approve the special permit to extend for the 6-month extension for this petition. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
So moved. Oh,
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs. Ms. Offeld,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
and Mr. Sloviter.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The ayes have it with 5-0. The special permit has been approved for this petition. Congratulations, Mr. Cook, and good luck with your construction.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to close the public hearing and the public meeting for this petition. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Oh,
It has been moved and second. The vote occurs on the motion. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
Aye.
Mrs. Sloviter,
aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. The public hearing and the public meeting has been closed. If I may just have a 2-minute break here to see what is happening with my computer. Okay, I think I have lost my computer, so I am going to go to my iPad, which means I won't be able to see anyone. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Bear with me one moment, please. Okay, thank you for your patience. Our next order of business tonight is ZBA FY 2026-12, 113 Cowles Road, that requests a special permit for change of use under sections 3.353, arcade or indoor commercial amusement, to open an arcade with bar in space formerly occupied by Atkins Farms Country Market North. Said property is located on map parcel 5A-139 commercial zoning districts. And I do understand that there was a site visit that Mr. Offield and Mr. Silver took part in. And if you can both fill us in on your site visit, please.
Okay, I'll be happy to go first. We visited the property and we got a tour with the applicant, a representative of the construction company, represented the architect, and there was someone else there, I think may have been a designer of some sort. I think that's who it was. So we toured the facility. There, it is an existing building. There is a patio in the front that they propose using for outdoor dining with food and beverages that are purchased inside, and that there will be access to this patio only from the interior of the new business, the entertainment place and bar. There's a loading dock with dumpsters in the back, which they are proposing to enclose. We confirmed that they have the required number of parking spaces provided, 27 out front, 2 in the back designated for employee parking. Everything inside was very reasonable to me. It's going to be an inside operation, which I believe is not what we are being necessarily asked to approve. What they're doing seems reasonable, and I saw nothing at all alarming or inappropriate or inconsistent with what we saw on the site visit. It's an existing property. Oh, no exterior modifications also. That was important. So they're not planning for that. That's everything.
Thank you,
Mr.
Mrs.
Offeld, did I miss something?
There is a change in signage. It was the only exterior. I guess that's an exterior thing, but the lighting is unchanged. And you may know this property as the formerly there was an Atkins Market at this site, and it's unchanged from that use. No significant changes from that use. Otherwise, I think Mr. Sloviter captured it well.
Thank you both. Even though I did not have the chance to go on the site visit, I am familiar with the property, having been to that Atkins Market many times. Okay. So for the record, the submissions dated March 24th, 2026, we have 2026-3-24_tilted_orbit_opt updated site plans for parking. The index of drawings, the cover sheet dated March 26, 2026, AC-001 site plan dated March 26, 2026, EX-100 existing room floor plans, EX-200 existing exterior elevations, A100 proposed first floor plan, A101 layout and occupancy plan, A200 exterior elevations. Submissions from February 13th, 2026. We have the Tilted Orbit Arcade_ZBA application final packet. On the application final 2.13.2026 application packet, we have index of drawings, Z1001, which is a site plan, Z102, proposed first floor plan, Z103, layout and occupancy plan, Z200, existing exterior elevations, Z201, exterior elevations, and submissions from August 8th, 2025. We have 150218_Atkins_Arch and structural site plan set from Atkins farm application dated January 30th, 2015. 201019_provisions_permit set site plan set from provisions wine application dated October 19th, 2020. By way of background, the Zoning Board of Appeals has not previously entertained or granted any request for special permits for 113 Cowles Road. The property does have a history of appearance before the planning board. This history is detailed in the section called Permit History for 113 Cowles Road. Should the board choose to grant the special permit, the use classification would change from apartment 8+ commercial to arcade or indoor commercial amusement. So that's something for us to be mindful of with granting of the special permit. We are changing the use classification. In terms of modification and waivers, the applicant is requesting a waiver from submitted exterior architectural drawings. The applicant received permission from both the assistant building commissioner and the building commissioner to reuse the exterior architectural drawings that were submitted for the Atkins Farms Country Market North application from 2015. They are also requesting a waiver from submitting a traffic impact statement. The applicant believes a change in use will not result in a significant change to traffic based on the study completed for the Atkins Market project in 2015. The Tilted Orbit Arcade project requests to rely on that study. Ms. Williams, who represents the applicant tonight?
I believe the applicant and two representatives are here. Let me just promote them to panelists. Miss Amy McDonough is the applicant. And I believe Mr. Dan Bonham and Miss Noelle Cruz will also be joining.
Thank you.
Hi.
Welcome. Please just state your name and address for the record, please.
Amy McDonough, 15 Cloverdale Street, Florence, Massachusetts, 01062.
And Ms. McDonough, are you presenting tonight on behalf of this application?
I'm going to say just an introduction, and then I'm going to hand it over to Dan to walk through the project.
Yes, please. And Mr. Bonham, when you are speaking, before you do so, just please introduce yourself and your address for the record. So, Ms. McDonough, go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say a little bit about the who and the what and the why in terms of this project. I've lived in the Valley for about 20 years, and I'm a former renewable energy developer, which was very interesting listening to this meeting. It was just like old times. I'm also a lover of pinball, and I'm a founder of the Northampton Bells and Chimes, which is a women's focused pinball club. And I've held tournaments for the last several years focused on pinball and very involved in this like local pinball community here. In my career, I've lived here for 20 years and I worked at the same job, the same company for 15 years up until when I retired a year ago. And I always worked in other regions. I worked out of my home, but I managed New York. And I was really envious of my friends who lived and worked here in the Valley. And when we would go out together, they would be bartering with their friends for their services that they provided. And I just was very admiring of the roles that they had. And I always wanted to do that myself, but I did not know what my role could be. I'm a geologist by schooling, renewable energy. I didn't know how it fit. But eventually, my love of pinball and my growing pinball collection made me start thinking about what I could do with my pinball games, and it dawned on me that doing an arcade is how I could, make my mark on this community and how I could share something that I love, that I'm really passionate about, that I want to introduce to absolutely everyone that I meet. And so that kind of brings me to the vision of the arcade at the Cow Barn, the Tilted Orbit Arcade, is to be, I really want it to be a social hub. I want it to be for everyone, all ages, and I will be doing programs to encourage people of all ages to come and play games, whether it's board games or arcade games or pinball or the golf simulator that will be there. But it's really just about coming together and sharing the joy of playing games. And yeah, I just wanted to share that opening statement with all of you so you get to know a little bit about the passion side of the project. And I guess with that, I can turn it over to Dan to talk about the details.
Good evening, folks. Dan Bonham, 4 Edward Street, Haydenville, Massachusetts. Thanks, Amy. Thank you to the board. As was previously described by members of the board, we have very minimal changes to the facade, primarily, well, exclusively new signage, which has been submitted and shown to scale on the elevations. And then we have, we're converting a window, existing window into a door. Other than that, there are no permanent changes to the exterior facade or the footprint of the building. There's a small enclosed outdoor patio for service of the guests, and that aspect is, Amy, correct me if I'm wrong, under approval by the liquor board for in process of being approved.
In process, yes.
And there you can see pictures of the existing. Thank you for pulling that up, whoever did that. And if you want to show the site plan, you can see in blue are the bike racks and the patio, which are really the extent of the exterior improvements. Lower right-hand corner does have the dumpster location, and a dumpster enclosure is shown there. And then maybe show the signage page as well, so you can see how that looks. There we go. So currently there's a half of a cow sticking out of the second floor. I guess you would consider it sort of the hayloft window up above there. We're proposing pulling that off the facade and replacing it with a sign. And the sign, Amy, is that backlit or front lit?
It is backlit.
Backlit.
Well, there is an existing light in the peak
Right.
of the eave, yeah.
Okay. So other than that, there's no changes to the exterior lighting. That's all been approved with the original site plan review. You can see the double door there in the rendering just below. Double door with a transom above. Pretty limited alterations to the facade. Happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Thank you, Mr. Bonham. Are there any questions for the applicants? Chair recognizes Mr. Meadows.
I didn't notice anywhere where it indicated what the hours of operation are. I'm curious about that.
Yep. So, it's Monday from 1 to 9. It's basically weekdays when we're open from 1 to 9 and weekends from 11 to midnight, but I'll go through it day by day. Monday from 1 to 9, closed on Tuesday, closed on Wednesday, but open for whole space rentals from 4 to 10, and then open on Wednesday from 1 to 9, Thursday from 1 to 9, Friday from 1 to midnight, Saturday from 11 to midnight, and Sunday from 11 to 9.
And how does that correspond to how the Atkins market was hours were?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we know what the Atkins hours of operation were.
I don't recall them being open in the evening, but maybe I'm mistaken. I thought they closed early.
I'm pretty sure that's correct, what Mr. Meadows just said.
And so there will be more traffic later in the day than there would have been before.
Also with the, oh, and I'm sorry, Mr. Meadows, did you finish your question?
I
Right.
think so.
I do have a follow-up to your question. So that is a good point that Mr. Meadows is making. And given the nature of your business, there is an expectation that it will have more volume of traffic than what the market had, given the nature of the nature of your business or intended business. So I I saw that there's a waiver for submitting a traffic impact statement. Just help me understand what's the rationale behind asking for that waiver, given that this initial study was done in 2015 for a market, which is not some place that everyone would go to or has a specific niche of people. Also, that area has been a little bit more developed than what it was back in 2015. It has, if I'm not mistaken, a very larger residential building that was not initially there. So help us understand your request for not doing a traffic study here.
Sure. You made a statement, Mr. Henry, that I actually wasn't aware. You said that there is an expectation that this business would be an increased volume of customers, and I actually don't agree with that statement. I think there may be a displacement of when my customers would be there because they won't be there in the morning where they normally would be for the market, I think. Instead, we're going to have customers late at night or later in the evening, which actually is going to help during the daytime and, adds traffic at a time when less traffic was happening before. So I see it as a displacement, but not an increase in volume. But I could, be corrected.
Yeah, I
So
think
this
when we discussed that, sorry to cut you off, Mr. Henry. I think when we discussed that with Jeff Bagg, the planner, he didn't think that that was something that this project would require.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, Mr. Bonham, I don't think there's a change in occupancy.
The actual occupancy count of people, I don't know the answer to that question. We haven't done an occupancy count on the previous use group.
I thought in my discussions when I was meeting with the town that I was told that the previous occupancy was 100 as well, and that is where we're at.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. I'm sorry.
Are there any additional questions from members of the board? You're more than welcome to speak freely. I cannot see any hands if there's any
Oh.
raised. Yeah.
All
Mrs.
right,
Silver,
well, David Sloviter has his hand up that you can't see.
I can see you now.
Can I,
Yes.
is this, I don't want to speak at an inappropriate time. Is it appropriate for a board member to make a comment about something an applicant said now, or do I wait for the public meeting?
I think you can do both, given that this is the opportunity for them to present. So if you have if your comment leads to a question for them, just
No, it's not going to lead to a question. The comment's going to only be a comment.
Okay.
You want me to wait?
If you want to, if they may want to respond to your comments. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
This is about the traffic and the assertion of that. I actually have some experience about traffic volume and traffic patterns. In this case, I would think that if anything, this application will have less traffic than a market. People who come to this will drive in, park, and stay much longer than somebody would if they were going into Atkins to buy lunch and then go to work. So there will be no traffic associated with this business on Tuesdays or on any morning. And it's credible to me that they will be shifting the traffic to later in the evening. But I don't think that it will mean people who deal in traffic talk about vehicle trips. A car coming in is one trip, a car going out is another trip. And I don't think that this business is likely to be intensive in the number of vehicle trips. So I'm not trying to make their case for them. I'm trying to be objective. And I think that the traffic is not an issue, at least in my mind. I'm finished. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Silver. The chair recognizes Mr. Offeld.
Wait, you can
It's
see
just
him,
wanted
but
to
you
mention-
can't see me?
Yes.
It's my last name. It's got an A.
God. He's the favorite David here.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay.
Now I forgot what I was going to say. I mentioned, and many others have mentioned Atkins as the prior occupant, but actually they were an occupant some years ago. But in the intermediate time, Provisions Wine Store was the occupant of that facility. I don't know what their hours were, but just point of information. And I just wanted to ask the applicant, did you, I heard I looked at the management plan, and it's very detailed and organized, but maybe I missed it, but is there an expected capacity of the facility? I heard you say the number 100. Is that correct?
Yes, it's not in the management plan. It's on the plans, the site plans themselves, but it is 100. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Offeld, and thank you, Ms. McDowell. Mr. White, any questions for our applicant? Thank you. Are there any additional questions for our applicants? Ms. McDonough and Mr. Bonham, thank you for your presentation. At this time, I will take comments from the public. Please remember that if you wish to speak or give a public comment, just raise your hand and you'll be given the opportunity to speak. Please limit any public comments to 3 minutes. Ms. Williams, do we have anyone in the public who wishes to comment on this application?
No, Mr. Chair, no hands have been raised.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. Seeing that there are no members of the public who wishes to comment on this.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. Someone just raised their hand.
That's okay.
Ms. Hilda Greenbaum. will be promoted to panelist.
Ms. Greenbaum, welcome. When you are ready, just please state your name and address for the record, and please be mindful again that public comments is limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, Hilda Greenbaum, 298 Montague Road. And I am not a butter to this, but I have also attended as panelist many applications for bar and entertainment service, for example, on University Drive, and Spoke downtown I covered for the paper. It's over many years. And there are some standard conditions that nobody is talking about. You have to remember that this is a residential neighborhood. And I was rather surprised that none of the abutters picked up on it, because when that proposal 10 years ago was made for the special permit, the neighbors were very concerned about students at midnight walking through neighborhoods and, having been drinking and having a good time, tend to have rather loud noise levels. So one of the standard conditions is, and this was for the Spoke, if you want to go look at that one, it's only a couple of years old, set a standard, and this is also for University Drive, a standard for sound pressure level as part of our bylaw at the edge of the property. And so if they're playing music, there also has to be conditions about when and how the music can be, if it's indoors or outdoors, and how loud the sound level can be. So it's not the students walking through neighborhoods. These are family neighborhoods, and it tends to be that students are out drinking and walking the streets a lot later than families put their kids to bed. So you need to deal with that. You may need to deal with crowd control like you see at the Spoke downtown, and a standard thing for bars where alcohol is served, that you ensure you have a condition in which they get alcohol service training. And there's a name for that program, which I can't remember, but if you look up the Spoke, you'll find it. That's the big ones, the noise levels and the alcohol training. And as I say, crowd control. And there's always crowd control at the Spoke on the weekend. I don't know why the neighbors didn't pick up on this one, but 10 years ago, this was a big issue in this particular neighborhood. So I just wanted to bring that up. These are standard conditions on alcohol, and you can look them up in existing permits.
Thank you, Ms. Greenbaum.
I have one more question.
Go ahead, Mr. Meadows.
Has there been any change in the sound attenuation within the building or on the building? Because this is going to be considerably louder than anything else that's going into the area.
Well, there's nothing that we're doing on the outside of the building. The management plan does discuss the playing of music until 9 o'clock through a speaker for the people on the patio, and it would comply with I think it's 70 decibels at the perimeter. And then on the interior, I really don't think we're going to have a condition where noise from the games or from the bar are going to be heard outside the building. But for our operations, we are going to be adding acoustic controls to the walls and some of the ceilings because of the noise of the games and the concrete floor.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Williams, are there any other members of the public who wishes to comment?
No, Mr. Chair.
I know, Ms. McDonough, that you just responded to Mr. Meadows' questions and Mr. Bottom. Are there any is there anything else you wish to add before we move to a public meeting? The public meeting does not afford you the opportunity to comment. So this is your chance to say anything else that you wish before we publicly deliberate on this petition.
Thank you. I would just respond to Ms. Greenbaum's comments and say that I actually feel like I've covered many, if not all, of the things that she mentioned in terms of the drinking management plan and the controls, the TIPS training. And in fact, even though this is not a nightclub, I am doing nightclub, committing to nightclub training, and we have emergency measures, and the double doors are even being put in to kind of be a good neighbor. But that being said, there's not much we can do about people walking through the neighborhood, but we are going to have crowd control on Friday and Saturday night from 8 to midnight, and we close at midnight. And the idea is that the security person will follow the guests out. Our last call will be a half hour before closing, and encourage them. And we're also going to have some signage that I've been working on to use, quiet voices when you leave the building, encourage them to remember that they're walking through neighborhoods, and to encourage them to dispose of their trash, in the barrels that we put out there. So, yeah, I share the same concerns, and I put a lot of thought into the management plan to try to manage those things. And I would be really happy to talk to Ms. Greenbaum afterwards, at any other time if she wanted to, once she had a chance to look at that.
So thank you for that. So I know that the alcohol training is in the management plan. What about the comment on the patio noise, so to speak, or music on the patio?
Well, like I said, we'll turn it off at 9 o'clock, and that's in the plan. And then I believe I wrote in the plan that we would comply with the town requirements that the decibel level be 70 or below at the perimeter. I can see, I can't really read what's on the screen thing if I said that, but I certainly said I would comply with the town rules, if that's 70 decibels at the perimeter or whatever it is. We're really not expecting a lot of outdoor activity. The patio is only going to have a few tables, and it's really just meant to get a break from the noise, to go outside and just, have some sunshine or whatever.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the panel? With no additional questions and or comments, I will entertain a motion to move the public to move to a public meeting while keeping the public hearing open, so that one, we can discuss the findings that we have to make, as well as conditions that would be imposed pursuant to any approval, and have an open discussion on the disposition of the board towards this application. Do I have such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion to move into a public meeting while keeping the public hearing open. Mr. Meadows?
Aye.
Mr. Offeld?
Aye.
Mr. Sloviter?
Aye.
Mr. White?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. The vote is unanimous at 5-0. We will now move into the public meeting while keeping the public hearing open to discuss this petition. Mr. Meadows?
I should say my general inclination is to agree with the overall concepts of doing something like this. I must say that when my grandchildren were a little bit smaller, they loved doing that type of thing at the place that's along the bike path in Hadley. But I noticed that there were some areas in the project application report that indicated there was a let me get to them. That the public comments invitation I'm not finding it at the second, did not go out in time for this meeting. Is that correct?
Ms. Williams?
That's not correct. Public had a chance to comment, and so did the department staff.
Was
Let's see. Are you thinking of the health inspector's comment?
I'm thinking of some of the different comments that were in here that there wasn't time for them. It says the site plan fails to conform dimensions to the parking spaces. The parking area clearly delineates spaces through the painting of the individual spaces, etc.
So
Other
we've
words-
had several updates to that. So the applicant did submit a new set of plans that did delineate the parking.
Right.
So that's been addressed.
Okay. There were other things in here. I'm just very surprised that there were not any comments from any of those who are living in the area.
I haven't received any comments via phone or email.
I find that highly unusual for this area, as was expressed by Hilda in her comment. That's my comment on this. I have a feeling that there needs to be some more public comment on this application.
I'm not seeing this screen again. Mr. Offeld?
Yeah, so in excuse me, in reviewing the application materials and reading the management plan and speaking with the applicant during the site visit left me with a strong impression of what is intended here. I think a way to say it is this is not a bar with some video games. This is a pinball and game venue that serves beverage and snacks for the patrons, the gaming patrons. So references to other facilities that are designed that are bars and designed just for the consumption of alcohol, or primarily for the consumption of alcohol, is not fair. I think a fair characterization of what I understand the applicant is seeking to do. And so I'm inclined to support this application.
Mr. Salvator?
A couple of things. I think Mr. Offeld has hit on something that's very important in this, and that is if you're going to compare it to bars, you need to compare it to the right bar. And this is primarily a pinball and game venue, with the bar certainly part of it, but it doesn't make sense to me that people who want to go to a bar but are not interested in pinball are going to go to this place. So I don't view it as primarily a bar. Also, I was satisfied. One other thing, this is largely a commercial area, so I'm not actually as surprised as Mr. Meadows is that there were not more comments. A lot of the close by neighbors are closed in the evening, or will certainly be closed before 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I don't know what the hours are. Provisions is the only business nearby that I'm familiar with, except the really good ice cream. But it's not right there, and it's a neighbor across two parking lots. When we at the site visit on Tuesday, we discussed with the applicant the physical boundaries of the outdoor patio and the amount of seating on the outdoor patio and how they will control access to the patio. And I was actually impressed. They seem to have thought through everything quite well. The management plan reflects a lot of thought going into how this is going to operate. And I was satisfied with all of the answers. We asked a number of questions. It wasn't just walk around, look at a few things. So I agree with Mr. Offeld that this is an appropriate use of the space, and I am also very much inclined to support this application. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Sloviter. And the chair recognizes Mr. White.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, once again, David, Mr. Offeld, taking the words out of my mouth. I think when we're looking at this, as both of them have said, this is not an establishment who's kind of, from what I'm gathering from looking at everything, whose revenue driver is really going to be alcohol sales. I think, whether there are loads of gaming stores where people gather to play everything from like Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40,000, like just any number of games that may serve alcohol. However, alcohol is a completely tertiary revenue source. It's not the main driver that's meant to bring people in, as is the case with bars and kind of bar restaurant situations. So I think we do have to be fully cognizant of kind of the difference in intent of that. But I'm inclined to support this.
Meadows?
Once again, my inclination is yes, but I think there got to be some conditions what I have seen is that teenagers and younger kids are the ones who are going to be wanting to play here, by and large. My grandson, who's 18, would love to go there. But if there's alcohol being served, how do you keep them away from the alcohol? How do you keep the younger kids away from the alcohol? Is there a way to prevent them from being out on the patio, or to prevent the people on the patio with alcohol from being with the kids? I'm not positive that this is really well thought out. I agree with you as far as it being a pinball and game place, and I'm inclined to think of it in those terms, but not if there's alcohol there. It's going to get...
Mr. Chair?
1 second, Mr. Sloviter. Let's see if Mr. Meadows is finished.
I thought he was. I'm sorry, Craig. I thought you were finished.
No excuses, David.
I'm sorry. I'm dirt.
I would like to see a number of conditions put in here to try and make it so that if there are teenagers or children in there for birthdays or games or other activities, that there's no alcohol at the same time. If alcohol is not the revenue generator, then we have to give some conditions such that will hold, such that is the case. We also have to make sure that if there's a transfer of ownership, that there's a review of this again in the conditions. Now I'm finished for the moment, David. Thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Sloviter, yes.
Am I allowed to ask the applicant a question?
I think we can do so here. Yes.
Okay. I thought that I heard at the site visit that there would be control of who comes in, and that you'd have to prove your age. will people under the age of 21 be allowed into this facility? That's what I want to ask. If they aren't, then there's no issue.
Well, yes, they will be. It's for all ages, but
Okay.
the underage drinking management plan shows a pretty stringent policy to check IDs once at the door electronically. People over 21 and over get a hand stamp. And then we have regular sweeps every 15 minutes of the floor, including the patio. We have podiums stationed at the front and the back where employees will be standing to look for what people are drinking. Alcohol is only allowed to go in glass, so only people that have a stamp on their hand should be able to drink from something that has from a glass that has alcohol in it. That's a visual cue for the staff. There's a separate snack bar so that all food and drinks by children and anyone who doesn't want to go to the bar or should not go to the bar can go to a separate place to order. That was very intentional to keep the bar away, for absolutely no reason for children to go to the bar. At the bar, there's a second ID check and it's electronic, and you can only order 2 drinks at a time. And of course, there's the tip certification and the other certifications being done. That might not even be everything that I put in the management plan, but I was as concerned about the management of underage drinking as Mr. Meadows is, and that is why that plan is as comprehensive as it is. And not to mention that the layout is specifically designed to keep the birthday party area on the other side of the building from the bar.
Thank you, Ms. McDonough. Mr. Silver, did that answer your question?
It did. I wasn't clear on what ages would be in there. I had no idea. So yes, it answers my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silver. So I find myself on both sides of this. I am very much inclined to support this as well, but I also share Mr. Meadows' concerns. And I think that in looking at the project application report, there needs to be more conditions. And I do think that it warrants more time to really think about the conditions that we want to attach to this special permit, just to make sure, one, they're not overly burdensome on you, that they're reasonable, and that it satisfies what we're trying to do in terms of making sure that, and I understand what you just said about your checks and balances in terms of alcohol, but we want to make sure that that is very documented, not only in your management plan, but in the special permit conditions as well, just to make sure, again, that there are some safeguards. Not saying that there isn't some level of trust as to what you will do, but also going to what Mr. Meadows says again, with a change of ownership, I think this needs to come back before the ZBA, just to make sure that whatever is being done is being addressed. So while I'm inclined to support your application, I think I need more time to really think through conditions that I would support for this. So my feeling tonight would be to continue this to a date certain, just to go through those conditions to make sure, again, they're not overly burdensome on you, and then they satisfy what everyone is asking for. So that would be my position for support. So just by a straw poll, how many people are inclined to, if this goes to a full vote for approval tonight? I suspect that we might be here for a while just ironing out conditions. And I think it may make sense to take this away, really think about conditions, have us review them, and then come back and do an up or down vote on this. That is my feeling, but I will defer to other members to weigh in.
I agree with you.
I'm fine with that recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Arfield, Mr. Sloviter?
We're to do that. I hope we could reconvene quite soon. Let the date certain be soon.
I can support this. It certainly, it seems like that's where it's headed anyway. I would be willing to approve this tonight, but there's not enough support for that. So I think that the chair's suggestion is a reasonable precautionary step, but I think that Mr. Offel's absolutely right. We should make this as soon as possible to not keep the applicant waiting longer than needed. We have a meeting in 2 weeks.
And
Mr. Hold on one second. Mr. Offeld, you were saying something?
I'm just going to add to my comments that, excuse me, that I would be in favor of approving tonight, but I would concur with Mr. Sloviter's observation. And my understanding is that we're not asking the applicant to do anything in addition, that it's so the ball is in our court, so to speak, to think about, as you say, think about conditions.
Yes, thank you. Mr. Meadows?
Can we ask Ms. Williams to look up older permits that have come through over the years and look up some of the conditions that have been put on that we could copy for this also,
I can
in
look
addition
into
to ones
those.
that we can think of ourselves.
I can look into those and share them with you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I agree with the sentiments of doing this sooner rather than later. So, Ms. Williams, I know you pulled up the calendar a few moments ago. So do we have the capacity for our next meeting to bring this back?
We do, Mr. Chair. The April 9th meeting currently only has a public meeting item. That's for Ball Lane, so we could continue this to April 9th.
And this full panel is available on April 9th? I can't see anyone anymore. Yep.
Sorry, everyone's saying yes.
I'm
I
available,
think.
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
David Offeld is available.
Okay.
And the less favored other David is also available.
Drama.
Well,
We'll take turns being the favored son.
No, he can see Offeld and he can't see me. This is perplexing, but okay.
And Mr. Meadows?
Apparently I'm available.
Apparently.
Okay. So April 9th then seems like a very good date to continue this to that date certain.
You have to vote on it.
Does that give
Yes.
Ms. Williams enough time to do some research and bounce some ideas back at us too?
I can definitely share the permits that were the decisions for the permits if I find them. I don't know if they went through planning board or zoning board, but I will look for them. So we're looking at specifically the spoke and what was the other one? Was it just the spoke? Okay, well, I can think of two. It would be
We also had the
McMurphy's,
the
but
one
McMurphy's is downtown, and so is
Correct.
the spoke.
on the
So
Spokes.
just keep that in mind as well. You're not necessarily comparing apples to apples.
That's true, but I think there's I'm sorry, what is the name of that pub that's down the street from this? Not apples to apples, but we can look at that as well.
What is
The
pub?
Harp.
I'm not a pub person, guys. You're
Yeah.
asking the wrong person.
No.
That's the Harp, I think you're
The
thinking
harp.
of.
Yes, the harp. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I will look at all the drinking establishments and become very familiar with them now that I have to see what they are doing.
Is the Three Amigos open in the evening or just for dinners?
Drinker, I don't know. That's just not my scene, Mr. Meadows. I don't know.
That's okay. So Okay, I think we have a plan to do this. So I would entertain a motion to continue this to a date certain of April 9th for deliberation on the petition. Is there such a motion?
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry.
do we need to check with the applicant to make sure that they're available on that date?
Thank you for that. Yes, Ms. McDonough and Mr. Bonham.
I will make myself available. I do have a conflict, but I will make myself available.
Yeah,
I do not
I
believe.
can be there. I can make that happen.
Thank you. I was going to say, Ms. McDonough, given that there is no ask of you for this, then if someone representing you on your behalf can be here, that's also fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. White. So I would now entertain a motion to continue this to a date certain of April 9th. Is there such a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
It has been moved and second. Is there any discussion? With no discussion, the vote occurs on the motion. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
Aye.
Mrs. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. ZBA FY 2026-12, 113 Cowles Road has been continued to a date certain of April 9th. Ms. McDonough and Ms. Taranum, thank you very much for your patience on this.
Thank you.
And see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we'll go to general public comment period on any other business not before the panel this evening. Ms. Williams, do we have any members of the public still?
We have members of the public, but I'm going to give them a moment to see if they're going to raise their hands.
Thank you.
Nope, no one's raising their hand.
Thank you very much. Are there any other business anticipated within the last 48 hours that is not before us tonight or was not available prior to the last 48 hours?
I don't have anything.
I do not see any responses from the board. So with that, as always, can we do a quick look at the calendar ahead?
Here we are. So we have pretty much put this to bed. That's done. Goodbye, Pulpit Hill. Goodbye, Fort River. And Tilted Orbit has been continued to not next week, 2 weeks from now, our next meeting. And then we have the public meeting with Ball Lane, where I believe they're presenting their updated management plan, and that's in accordance with one of their conditions from their special permit, and they need that approval, I guess, so that they can go ahead and move forward and get their certificate of occupancy, which they need in order to start renting out the first wave of units. I'm not completely familiar with this project, so I'm going to be doing my own due diligence in the next 2 weeks before this comes before you. But you will be getting a project meeting summary, essentially, about it prior to that. So you're all caught up as well. And if you need me to resend the entire thing, it was a comp permit from a couple of years ago. I don't know. I don't even want to guess the date, but it's before my time. So I will definitely find that and share it with you as well.
Thank you.
Mr. Meadows has a question.
You mentioned renting. I think those are all sales, aren't they?
It is possible. I've misspoken. I'm not familiar with the project at all, so I have to go back and double check the particulars.
Yeah, I was on that board. It's
Is
all
Ball Lane the North Amherst project housing development?
Yes, it is.
One
Okay.
of them.
So yes, those are sales, Mr. Meadows. You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's coming before you in 2 weeks. Looking ahead, I don't have anything for April 23rd, but also Mr. Henry's out. So if we do have any petitions, I don't know that they'll make it because we're kind of inching closer to the deadline than we do want to. Oh, wait, that's not true. I apologize. Now that my brain is functioning and looking ahead, 43 South Prospect Street is on the 23rd. And that's a very simple change of, oh, it's not even a change. It's a modification of the special permit that was granted, and the applicant would like to, instead of adhering to the owner occupancy requirement, they would like to change to a resident manager requirement. So that's what's happening there. It's another one of those two-family situations, and I guess they just don't want to live there anymore. So they're going to change it to resident manager. So that's 43 South Prospect, and that's the only one we have on the 23rd. Glad I remembered that. And then on the 14th, I would really like to not work because that's my birthday. So if we could, I'd really not, as much as I like you guys, I don't want to spend my birthday with you. So if we could possibly think about voting to cancel that meeting, we don't have to do it today. I'd really appreciate it. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Happy birthday.
Well,
Early
it's not,
birthday.
it's
Yes.
coming up. It's not here yet.
Okay. So thank you for that. With no other business to discuss, at 8:01, I will entertain a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting. Is there such a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second,
It has been moved and second. The motion is not debatable. The vote occurs. Mr. Meadows,
Aye.
Mr. Offeld,
aye.
Mr. Sloviter,
Aye.
Mr. White,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Thank you all for your service. We are adjourned.
Bye, everyone.
Night.